Good morning. There's some thoughts that have been going around in my head this morning, and every morning I get such thoughts. So I thought, might as well make a video, might as well get these thoughts out. Worst case, I get some practice with getting my thoughts out. So, a famous and successful YouTuber, Elliot Hulse, there's a video where he talks about the cookie cutter life versus the life where you live your passions and follow your goals and dreams. And this video especially stuck out to me. Starting from the cookie cutter life. It's a life which many of us, especially those who were raised in the middle class and the wealthier classes, especially from my experience, may be wrong, very much prominent among Asian and Indian descent families. And there's a huge problem with this that I'm seeing, and I want to get into that. But the cookie cutter life is easy. The cookie cutter life is living the life which your parents gave you. It's following what they wanted for you. And what is that? They wanted you to be happy. And that definition of happiness was settling down, having money, and being successful in that regards. But many of us immigrants forget to see the fact that that our parents, their passion was to come here. That was their passion, that was the goal, to come here, get the opportunities, and be successful. And that was their success. But for us, for many of us, the passion is lacking. The desire is lacking. So, the cookie cutter life. It's easy. We go through school. Our parents give us the education values, so we easily get what we need. We get our job. We get our 9 to 5. We get our money. And we're successful. What's seen as successful. And for some of us, yes, we may be passionate about what we're doing. We may be passionate about that type of life. That's all fine. But for many of us, we're not passionate. For many of us, it's just to get through, to get the money because we didn't know what else to do. For many of us, this was just the easy route. It got us the money. It got us to be what's seen as successful and settled down. But that cookie cutter life can only lead to so much happiness in life. When there's not actual desires and passion for what you're doing and your daily activities, money can only give you so much. Money can give you the opportunities to sense gratify yourself. But how much sense gratification will lead to real happiness in a long-term way? How much happiness is actually going to help and improve your situation, your mental satisfaction? There's only so much that partying, there's only so much that the material objects can do. There's only so much that your senses can be gratified until there's a peak point. So it's easy. It's easy to follow that path that your parents have given you. It's easy to follow what has been given to you. There's no doubt. And for many of us, as immigrants, wealthy or middle class, that's a set out for us. If we follow that path, we'll reach a place where we have everything materially. But will we ever have that mental satisfaction? And is it worth having material prosperity and giving up that mental satisfaction and giving up those passions and desires? So when we live a life where we are passionate, when we live a life where we're constantly focused on a deep goal, when we start getting outside of the box which we've been living all our lives, when we get outside of that box, a whole new world opens up for us. We stop staying stuck in our specific tasks that we are just doing routinely without even thinking, without even caring that much. When we start getting outside of that box, when we start gaining the passions and desires, then things happen more naturally. We start waking up early. We start doing things outside of our work and in our work that's helping us become a better individual, characteristically, and the influence and change that we are causing. And yes, following a life where you are working towards completely your passion and goals is a risk. I'm not gonna lie, it's a risk. There are no guarantees for success in the way that you are imagining. No, none at all. But the biggest problem is our definition of success isn't right. Because the thing is, there will be guaranteed success. There will be guaranteed success that you will become an individual that you have wanted to become. You will gain characteristics and skills. You will meet people and talk to people and learn so much more about yourself and the world. That is guaranteed. It is guaranteed that you will go every day passionate about your activities and learning more and more every day. It is guaranteed that with passion and with putting in all your effort and heart and every activity that you do every day, you will be successful in just changing your character and just gaining a high personality, a high intellect, a high understanding of multiple perspectives and individuals. That is guaranteed success. Now, the risk that I'm talking about is that our success may not be what we had originally intended. We may have seen ourselves as being famous in this area or that area, or being like this, or having this much money, or whatever it may be. We may not have that initial success, or may not ever have that success that we had originally intended. But I guarantee that if you put in the passion, if you put in the emotions, if you put in your effort every day towards your passions and desires, there's no doubt that you will have some sort of success. Whether that's small success or large success, there will be success. And in addition to that, there will be large success in your personality and your mental satisfaction in the long term. So we can focus on what is the short term, or we can focus on what is the long term. We can focus on what's going to keep us materially successful, or we can focus on what's going to keep us mentally successful. And that's really what it comes down to. For many of us, we're lacking passion. For many of us, we are lacking just the desire of what we want to do with our lives. And for many of us, some of us may ask, well, I don't even have passions in anything. Well, that's because you're not doing enough. That's because you're stuck in your own set out path by your parents or whoever, that you don't know enough about your own self. So I urge and encourage and highly encourage people to get out there and let your life become a journey. Let your life be about learning more about yourself and other individuals, about learning what you're good at and what you're not good at, and using what you're good at to determine what you would like to do that you're passionate about, to cause real change in society and influence people in a wide scale We need more people to get out of their shell, to get out and learn how to do something great for this country and for this world. The great individuals, the great leaders of society have always been completely passionate about what they have been pushing towards. One of my biggest idols, and many of our biggest idols, was Martin Luther King Jr. And one quote that really stood out to me, through his speech, that he said with a lot of passion, so much passion, that has stuck with me. He said, quote, "No, we are not satisfied. And we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream." He was not satisfied. He was never satisfied. He was always pushing towards its goals. And his passions. And we must do the same. We must allow our passions to overtake our lives. Stop staying stuck in our whatever's been set out for us by whoever it was. And get outside of our box. Not saying that you need to quit your job. I'm saying let's do something in our job, outside of our job. Let's get outside of the box in both areas. And let's do something that can bring upon good change in this world. With all the just not so great decisions being done, whether it's in this country or whether it's outside of this country, whether it's in America or whether it's outside. There's so much that's not being done right. And if we, as the next generation, don't do anything, it's not going to help any of us. And so every day I'm learning, I'm getting outside of my comfort zone so that I can learn the perspectives of others. And trying to learn as much as I can and much as I can do with as much as energy as I have throughout a day, and learning as much as I can about myself and others so that real change can happen, so that real long-lasting, logical change can happen instead of this cycle of repeating history and so much else that's going wrong. So it will require us to take that, to be brave, to be courageous, to take the risks, to get outside of our fear and our comfort zones, because we have the ability. We all have the ability, if we actually care and are passionate. And I believe that we can create upon real change if we just all come together and understand each other's perspectives. And it will be hard, but if we can do this better, and I'm learning every day, I'm trying to come up with concrete things I can do, and I urge everyone to do the same. Thanks.